ជំរាបសួរទូរទស្សនិកជនជាទីមេត្រីបាទសូមស្វាគមន៍មកកាន់កម្មវិធីជួបជាមួយនឹងខ្មែរ TV នាសប្តាហ៍នេះបាទថ្ងៃនេះយើងមានសេចក្តីរីករាយយ៉ាងខ្លាំងដែលបានអញ្ជើញលោកអ្នកថតរូបដ៏ចំណានម្នាក់គាត់ជាជនជាតិអង់គ្លេសហើយគាត់ថតរូបកាលពីចំនួនយើងមានសង្គ្រាមដែលយើងរត់ចេញពីស្រុកខ្មែរមកចូលជំរំថៃហើយគាត់បានថតរូបបានជាច្រើនហើយគាត់នឹងមកតាំងពីពណ៌នៅរូបទាំងនោះនៅថ្ងៃអាទិត្យយើងទី2នេះបាទនៅទីក្រុងឡងបិចនៅ MacArthur Park ហើយដូច្នេះយើងចង់ដឹងថាតើគាត់បានឆ្លងកាត់អ្វីខ្លះហើយបានថតបានរូបអីខ្លះសូមបងបាយអារម្មណ៍ទូរទស្សនិកជនមកជួបជាមួយនឹងលោក Colin Grafton ជំរាបសួរលោក Colin
ជំរាបសួរ
យើងនិយាយខ្មែរច្បាស់
ឈ្មោះ Colin Grafton
ខ្ញុំ
នេះភាសាខ្មែរតិចតិច
និយាយភាសាខ្មែរតិចតិចមួយម៉ាត់ពីរម៉ាត់ Colin, can you introduce yourself to the audience real quick please?
Right. Okay, where shall I begin? I first went to Cambodia in 1973 as an English teacher. And I was there for 2 years, and then the Khmer Rouge came along, and I had to leave. And during that time, my hobby was taking photographs. And I went back to the Thai border in 1980 as a volunteer to work along the border and in Khao Dang, especially Khao Dang camp. I was not actually a photographer then either, but I had a camera and I took a lot of photographs. And what we've brought to America from Cambodia this time is all the photographs, not all the photographs, but the best of the photographs that I took at that time. So I wasn't there as a photographer, but I was working with nutritionists and World Food Programme, and I had work to do, but I just took photographs wherever I went. And so I caught a lot of the refugee relief operation on the border itself and in Khao Dang and Sakeo refugee camps.
Very nice. Well, let me take you a step back. What made you interest Cambodia or the Cambodian people? I mean, there's a whole bunch of country around the world and whole people, and what made you interest our country?
I came overland originally from Britain. But then you could do it. You could drive through Iran and Afghanistan.
Wow,
and,
really?
And we did that. You could do that in the 60s.
Wow. So you drive all the way from...
Yeah, I didn't drive. Someone else was driving.
Yeah.
I was the navigator.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, we drove and we ended up in Thailand. And then from Thailand, I went up to Laos, and I liked Laos very much. And so I was teaching English there for 2 years. From Laos, it was a short trip to Cambodia. So I came to Cambodia. I met 2 Americans who were thinking of starting the first English school with native speaker teachers. And I was interested in that. And the first night I was in Cambodia was very, very impressive. It was in Sisapon. I'd come all the way from Bangkok by road, and it was a bad road then.
That was at 1968 or something, right?
No, it was 1972.
72?
Yeah, 72, yeah. The road was very, very bad, and I was exhausted when I arrived. But I was surrounded by all the Cambodian people in town, I think.
They'd never seen you before.
They were telling me all about Cambodia, all about the politics, all about the culture, all about the history. And I felt such energy. And I thought, wow, I think I'd like to live here. And so that was my first impression.
So basically you were an adventurer. So you just
Yeah, I didn't-
venture
I
out
wasn't
from your
sent.
country.
That's right. I wanted to go to Asia. I had a lot of interest in Asian culture and Buddhism and
Yeah.
I just wanted to get into something completely different away from Europe at the time. So when I arrived in Cambodia, I was not working for any embassy. I was not working for any company or organization. I was freelance. And because of that, I was not really desirable as far as the British Embassy was concerned, because it was just another problem for them having an independent...
So you just freelance, do whatever you like over there, just to make a little bit of money to survive during your adventure
Yeah,
time.
but mainly I was here because I liked being here.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't making money. And because of that, that led to the main reason I left before the Khmer Rouge arrived, because my neighbours, I lived in the Cambodian area, not in the Barang area.
Oh, in the Barang area. Yeah.
So that was another problem for the British Embassy. You know, they didn't like people living out in the
outside of their
in the other part of town.
the other part, yeah. Yeah.
But my neighbours all thought that I was working for the CIA because I stayed up late at night.
But you are British. How could you be a CIA?
Well, they didn't know anything about MI5.
Oh. Exactly.
Yeah, they thought if I stayed up late at night, I must be sending secret messages. Actually, I was listening to music or reading a book. But,
right, it's a Morse code, right? In the old time, Morse code.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, there's no cell phone at the time, so there's no way
So
to
that was amusing at the time. You know, when I found that out, I thought, well,
that's
why disillusion them? You know, it was okay as far as they were concerned.
Yeah.
But then when it came to deciding whether to stay or whether to leave, I didn't have a job anymore. The school closed a few days before. You know, there was nothing for me to do.
That's at 75, right? That's
this is
right
75.
before. Yeah, right before Khmer Rouge.
Yeah.
Were you there during the Khmer Rouge takeover?
No, I was there.
They kicked you out.
I was there until the 7th.
Oh, okay. So right before, 10 days
10
before.
10 days before.
Yeah, because the Khmer Rouge took over April 17, and you.
That's right. Yeah.
So did they tell you ahead of time that did you have to leave now, or you just leave because you want to leave?
The British Embassy was telling me for 2 years that I should leave, and I kept telling them thank you very much for reminding me, but I would like to stay as long as I can.
I intend to stay here for a long time.
Yeah. Anyway, the British Embassy left without telling me eventually, and I found out about 2 weeks after they'd gone that they weren't here anymore. So I was on my own.
Wow.
And I was offered a bit of space on a rice plane. You know, the rice planes were still coming in, dropping rice at Po Chen Tong, taking off very quickly, and you had to run across the airfield, jump on.
Jump on the plane.
Because the Khmer Rouge were already, they were firing rockets every hour into the airport.
Yeah.
So I decided to, in the light of the fact that my neighbours thought I was a CIA agent, and if the Khmer Rouge came and started asking questions about foreigners, I thought it was not a good idea for me to be around.
Yeah.
So that was made me decide.
So what turned you into photography?
The photographs I took then, I had a motorcycle, and for the first year I didn't have a motorcycle. I had a Russian bicycle. It was the biggest bicycle in town. Yeah. And I just went around Phnom Penh taking photographs of people. Just, you know, ordinary people doing ordinary things. And this actually made the photographs later a bit special, because other photographers were going out and taking photographs of the war. I was not doing that. I was taking photographs of what was happening in Phnom Penh, and mostly pictures of people and kids and Phnom Penh
Ordinary
itself.
life, doing that
everyday life.
Everyday life. Do you still have those photos, by the way?
Yes.
You do?
I do, yeah.
Wow.
I do, but they're not here. But you can see them on my website.
Oh, okay.
I got a website, and that has all the photographs worth seeing
Wow.
from Phnom Penh. And I also went out in the countryside. When I got the motorcycle, I went out at weekends, and I went out in different directions, and I took photographs of what was happening there. So it's a combination of the city and the countryside around.
During the 74, 75.
73, 74 and early 75.
Yeah, so during the time that you were there, then you left the country because the Pol Pot is taking over.
That's right, but we never heard of Pol Pot. We only heard about the Khmer
Khmer, yeah.
Pol Pot's name didn't come up.
Didn't come up, correct, yeah.
We heard Khieu Samphan.
Khieu Samphan, yes, yeah. But when you come back to United Kingdom, do you hear anything about the hardship or whatever that they doing in our country? Nothing at all? Like quiet?
Well, I didn't go back. I didn't go back
but
to the
news
United
or anything,
Kingdom.
there's no news, nothing?
I went to Japan from in 1975 when I left. I went to Bangkok.
Oh, I see.
I hung around in Bangkok and in Laos for a month, listening to the radio to see what was happening in Cambodia. And I had this stupid idea that maybe I could go back to Cambodia.
You want to go back?
Because I thought maybe there would be a benign takeover. You know, everyone wanted peace and to rebuild the country.
That's what they said.
That's what they said, yeah. And there were people like me. I was not the only one who believed it might be possible.
Yeah.
You know, it's ridiculous now to think that. But,
I know, because from the time that you left until the time that they gone, that so many people die. If you would have go back, you probably wouldn't be sitting here, I'm pretty sure. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more. Okay. បាទពីកម្មវិធីសូមសម្រាប់មួយផ្លែតសិនបាទសូមស្វាគមន៍ត្រឡប់មកវិញបាទ So when you left Cambodia in 1975, you did not go back to British England?
No, I didn't. No, I hung around for a month in Bangkok and Laos, waiting to see.
Thinking about going back?
Right, thinking about coming back to Cambodia. But there was nothing coming out. There was no news at all. No one knew what was happening in Cambodia.
Oh, it's quiet.
And so, my friend, who was a Japanese journalist, came out. He'd stayed through the Khmer Rouge takeover. He was trucked out with the other journalists. And he came out about a month after the takeover.
Oh, okay.
I met him in Bangkok. I had no money. He had some money because he had filmed the Khmer Rouge coming into Phnom Penh. So he loaned me the money for an air ticket. Where do you want to go? UK? No thanks. Australia? Japan? He was Japanese. So I thought, okay, I'll go to Japan. So I went to Japan, and in Japan, I loved Japan. I was very happy working in Japan. I got a good job there teaching volunteers, going to other countries like Japanese Peace Corps. And I was there for 4 years, and then 1979 came along, and the refugees started coming out of Cambodia into Thailand, and then I decided to go back.
Oh, so you left Cambodia in 75, go to Japan, and then when you heard about the news,
then
you
I
come
quit
back.
my job in
You quit your
Japan.
job, you come back. So you kind of like attached to Cambodia, basically.
Yeah.
So the 79, 80, that's when you go back to the camp the Thailand camp in Khao Dang and Srah Kao.
That's right, yeah. I came back first with a Japanese volunteer organization, small NGO. And then we were asked for volunteers to work with World Food Programme So I transferred to World Food Programme. And, you know, my motives for doing that, obviously, you know, I had left Cambodia. I had left a lot of people that I was very close to, Cambodians, and they had no choice. They couldn't leave.
Correct.
So I could, you know,
Yeah.
I was privileged.
Yeah.
I could get out.
Even though you don't have money, you can still get out.
Yes,
Right?
that wasn't
Yeah.
wasn't important at the
Yeah.
time. It was, yeah, I could get out, and so I wanted to go back. I wanted to see if anyone coming out, anyone that I knew
That you-
had survived and was coming out. And I did find a few people in Khao Dang camp that
That
I
you
had
knew
known,
before.
or friends of mine had known, and they connected with me. They heard that there was a barang
Yeah,
in the camp
a barang.
who had been an English teacher in Phnom Penh before the Khmer Rouge, and so people came and connected with me. Not many, but a few.
Yeah.
Some people who'd worked in the school, and some people who'd been students.
Yeah, well, a lot of them die, you know, because remember
I know.
when you left 75, you didn't hear anything from, knew nothing from Cambodia,
No,
right?
no.
That's like 3 years, 8 months, and 20 days in the dark.
Yeah.
So basically, no calendar, no hour, no clock, no time, no year. Nobody know what day, what time. Nobody. Only
Yeah.
the leaders know.
This is
because
a very
that's all-
interesting thing, because when Cambodians who were living under the Khmer Rouge, when they talk about their experiences, they count everything. You know, I mean, like the 3 years, 8 months, and 20 days, right? You know, it's exactly.
Yeah.
And they'll also tell you how many months they were in a certain place, and how many tins of rice they got each day, and you know, it's all counting.
Yeah.
But because maybe that's the only way that they could measure time.
Well,
They didn't have clocks anymore. They didn't have calendars, as you say.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why we count and we remember those things is because those are it's like something dramatic happened to our life. You know, that make us remember something like that. Yeah, I don't know about the year, the month, the day until after we left. And then I heard about the year, the month, and the day, and that's when I remember and repeated myself. Yeah, because I was there, but I have no clue what year, what month, what day, and how many year, how many month, how many day. But after we left, then you know people
Then you found
calculate.
out.
Yeah, they calculate from the time they took over, and then until the time they fell, they run away, and that's how we know. Yeah. So you in Khao Dang, you take lots of photos of any refugee at all, just normal daily life.
Normal daily life.
And you have that photo enlarged, printed, right? Or how are we going to display your exhibit in Long Beach?
Well, the photographs I took were mostly black and white.
I see.
Partly because I had a preference for black and white. I liked black and white.
Yeah.
I just liked black and white. And colour film at that time was a bit more difficult to use, a bit more difficult to get, and a bit more expensive.
Yeah.
So I stuck to black and white most of the time.
Yeah.
And I still like it like that. I think it gives more of an impact than having everything in colour. So there are just a few colour photographs in the exhibition, not many. And most of them were taken in Khao Dang because World Food Programme's operation was monitoring food distribution in Khao Dang. So I was just following the nutritionists in their work and helping them, and I had the camera at the same time. And you know, my main work my most dramatic work in Khao Dang was trying to convince the people in Khao Dang that corn soy milk was eatable.
Oh, soy milk.
They had something called CSM, corn soy milk.
Corn soy milk.
Was, a mixture of corn powder, soy powder, and milk powder.
Yeah.
Comes in big sacks. 10,000 tons of it at the time.
That's when they supplied to us over there.
That's what they supplied.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's indigestible, and it doesn't store very well. It needs dry, cool conditions for storage.
Yeah.
Just what you've got on the Thai border, right?
Yeah. So you kind of like have to eat it quickly.
Exactly.
Not store for too long.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
I think
we couldn't get rid of it. We tried cooking it every way you could possibly cook it. Every evening with the nutritionist. We were eating the stuff ourselves, and it always came out heavy and the same pretty horrible taste.
Yes.
So I used to stand up in front of hundreds of people, and with my very bad Khmer, and I did a crash course in food vocabulary. In my very bad Khmer, I was trying to convince them that this stuff was eatable and suggesting different ways to cook it. So they had a good laugh. I think my main contribution in Khao Dang was as a comedian, entertainer.
But you volunteer, right, basically?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, you volunteer with World Food. So do you go take photos where a lot of refugee getting waters, a lot of refugee getting food, the distribution center where they give food?
Yes, yeah. But mainly, the highlight of this exhibition is the land bridge at Nong Chan. And the land bridge was one of the biggest operations, relief operations of the whole thing, where thousands and thousands of people came from inside Cambodia to the border, where they collected rice and rice seed to take back into Cambodia. So the objective of this was to encourage them to stay in Cambodia, not to come out into Thailand.
Oh, I see.
Encourage them to stay in Cambodia and plant rice and be
and plan and live there, kind of build a life in Cambodia instead of move to Thailand.
Right.
Yeah. But I guess the reason why a lot of the people left is because they feel insecurity. They feel that the war is still there. They feel scared that Pol Pot might come back.
They did, and not only that, but the Vietnamese were occupying Cambodia, and the government that was the Heng Samrin government, although it was much more benign than the Khmer Rouge, they were actually the Khmer Rouge themselves, ex-Khmer Rouge, and they were still communists. And with many people, they'd had enough of communism, so they wanted to get out, and they wanted to go to a third country. That was the dream.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is, because of the insecurity that they feel. It's like me myself, because it's like you just got out of something that is really horrible, and now the person that are there, they are kind of like friends together, and it might come back.
Yes.
That's what we all thinking. That's the reason why we left to the camp, and when we are in the camp, we hope that we can get into different part of the world, the third world country. And in the camp, that's where the difficult part. That's why if you have photo, because I was there 1 year myself in the Khao Dang camp in 81 to 82.
Ah, okay.
81,
a little
82.
After I left.
So you left already?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was there from May 1980 to September 1980.
Oh, so you in 80. So you there only for 1 year?
I was only there for 5 months.
Oh, 5 months, not even 1 year.
Because I was also on my way back to UK.
Oh, so that's when you go back to UK.
Yeah, I thought, I was leaving Japan. I was leaving my job, And I got a ticket, open ticket for a year. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go and volunteer. I would have stayed longer on the border, perhaps, if I had been more useful, but I really felt that World Food Programme's operations, so they didn't really need me.
Oh, okay. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to continue conversation. ពីកម្មវិធីសូមសម្រាប់មួយផ្លែសិនបាទ បាទសូមស្វាគមន៍ត្រឡប់មកវិញបាទ So you left Khmer camp in 1980 September 80
I did.
You went back to England for 1 year and then you go back to Cambodia.
No.
No?
No.
Where did you go? You only go to England for 1 year.
Right? I went to England for 1 year, and the only thing that I did in England, because there weren't many jobs for English teachers in England, teaching English as a foreign language. There's not a big demand. And it was partly to see if I wanted to live in England again. But only partly. The main thing I did was I printed the photographs from the refugee camps and the border, and I put an exhibition on. And I put the exhibition on in public libraries because a lot of people would go and see.
The Cambodian refugee photo that you took.
That's right, yeah. And you won't be in them because you weren't there until next year, 1981.
Yeah.
1981, I was in London and putting this exhibition together.
The photo.
Because Cambodian refugees were coming to Britain as well, not many. Right. Some.
Oh, yeah.
And the British people didn't know anything about Cambodia. So I wanted to show them Cambodia, and so they had some understanding of the people and what had happened to them. And that's what I did.
So after that, where did you go?
After that, well, I went back to Japan.
Oh, you went back to Japan.
I went back to Japan. Because I had a Japanese girlfriend. And we went together she was also a volunteer in the refugee camps. And we went to England and then, actually we didn't go directly back to Japan. We went to South America and then Japan. But that's a long story and it's not important.
But right now, you live in Cambodia.
That's right.
So you end up in Cambodia again.
Yes. Well, I wanted to go back. I wanted to go back to Cambodia throughout the 80s, but I couldn't get in because the Vietnamese were occupying. I was from the wrong country. If I'd been Russian or East European, I could have got a visa.
Oh,
but
I see.
Being British...
There were communists, the communists is still popular those days.
That's right, yeah.
Not nowadays.
No. But the first time I could come back was 1992 when UNTAC came in.
Oh,
and then I got a visa and I was working for UNESCO in Tokyo, so it was easy for me to get a visa to enter Cambodia again.
So as soon as they allow the foreigner, or I guess the foreigner, to come to Cambodia, you immediately jump back right in.
Yes.
So you are kind of like, stick to the Cambodian people here.
I was never out of touch with Cambodian people because, in Japan, there were also quite a lot of Cambodian refugees, Cambodian restaurants and, Cambodian people. I knew a lot of them.
Yeah.
I
so
was
you
in
just
touch
love
with them.
Cambodian, basically.
Yeah.
Now you end up on Cambodian TV, on Khmer TV too, I guess.
Looks like
so
it.
What do you? So since you live there, you have a lot of Cambodian friends. You speak any Cambodian?
Well,
Hello,
Yes, yeah. I started studying Cambodian again, but I got so hung up with other things like photographs and putting exhibitions together and working for Bopana Centre on subtitling and working with Tool Sling Museum on proofreading catalogues and
I see.
all these sort of things. And it's all in English.
Right.
So, and another thing is I'm terrible at languages. For someone who's travelled so much, it's kind of... unfortunate that I don't really have a gift for learning other languages.
Yeah.
So my Khmer got stuck at a certain
Your Khmer
point.
got stuck.
And it's actually worse now than it was in 1980. You know, in 1980, I could stand up there and talk about food, and people could laugh at me. But now,
You haven't spoken for a while.
I wouldn't
You
be
lost
able to
it.
do that right now.
Yeah, you lost it because you're out of touch with the language.
Yes.
But you work with Bopa Center and Tuol Slime. The people who work with you, they speak Khmer, right? I mean, or they speak English to you, of course, but
Yeah, well, most of them speak pretty good English. And actually, I was teaching English at Tuol Slime to the staff.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that was...
So, the photo, do you know anything about the photo that was displayed in Tuol Slime? Anything, you have any idea you related to anything of those? Taking any picture of those, or no, not at all?
No. We actually put on an exhibition at Tuol Slime, but there's nothing to do with my photos.
I see.
That was connected to a Cambodian student who was studying in Japan and came back to Cambodia in 1976 during the Khmer Rouge. And he ended up in Tuol Slime and was executed.
Oh, that's a Japanese student.
It was a Cambodian student who was studying in Japan.
Oh,
and the Khmer Rouge delegation came to Japan, and they talked to to Cambodian students, and they said, come back to Cambodia and help rebuild the country.
Oh my God! You know, one of my cousins, the same thing. He was in Paris, and somehow the embassies over there, they tell him, come back to our country, help rebuild, we are peace now. And he has sisters in New Zealand, tell him not to go, but he said, no, I want to go and help the country. And that's when he went to the country, went back to Cambodia and never seen since.
And do you know if he ended up in Tuol Slime or?
We went back to Tuol Slime. I think his son is there in Cambodia right now. His son's living in Cambodia right now. They went back to Tuol Slime, but they never seen his photo in there. But just disappear. Because, they're not, sometimes they kill them when they get off the plane. They don't even take to Tuol Slime.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So when you come back from other country, they take, you get off the plane, they just take them and they just go, they just kill.
Yeah,
that's
right.
That's the time that it's horrible.
My wife Keiko, she was doing a project at Tuol Slime Museum after we did this exhibition on one student in Japan. She did a project where they got the lives of about 20 different people who were returnees, who had been out of the country at the time, who came back during the Khmer Rouge and who were brought to Tuol Slime and executed. Yeah. And she followed, she and her colleagues connected with their life stories before they were brought to Tuol Slime.
There's so many intellectual people die, intellectual Cambodian, and teachers, doctors, and politicians, and it's just a normal student, just being rich. They also die. Right, just so many people die during the time. My family, I'm talking about my mother's side, my family, my aunt, uncle, cousins, total almost 50. It's only 5 left. Only 5 of us left.
Yeah.
That's my mother's side. My father's side, we have a little more left. But my mother's side, we only have 6 left, but one of them died when he hit the mine in I think 1999 or something like that. He stepped on a mine, and he was a soldier at the time, and he stepped on a mine. We don't even see him. He's just gone, So we only have 5 left in one side of my family. Sad, Yep. And both of my parents died at the time during the Pol Pot, and I'm here alone. I'm an orphan. So, do you have any particular interest or anything on any of the photo that you took in the camp? You know, it's like one interesting photos or any kind of thing like that.
Well, we chose 2 photographs as sort of key photographs. And one of them, I think maybe one of the most impressive for me, is a photograph taken in Khmer Dang. They were still building it. And it's a mountain of bamboo.
Yeah.
You know, they just brought tons and tons of bamboo and they laid it out like a mountain as far as you could see. And there's one little kid sitting in the middle of it. Yeah, one little kid. Could have been you in 1981, but
yeah.
if you'd been there a year earlier, could have been you.
I was.
Oh, this is okay. This is the picture.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
So we chose that one. It's not everyone's choice, but we like it, and you can see the construction going on in the distance.
Yeah.
They're still building.
I think the refugee, when they come in, they also build themselves. The what do you call it? A cottage or a hut or what do you call it?
Yeah.
It's kind of like
they
a
had
cottage,
the bamboo.
right?
They had thatch. They had grass thatch to make the roof. And there's one other photograph of kids actually building
That's
their house.
It's see those kind of building or either a hut or whatever. We do that in our country. We build something like that all the time. So when we come to Thailand, all we need is just material.
Yes.
So, and when you have material, we already know what to do. We know how to build all of that. So that's why they build the camps really quickly at the time. Yeah.
And under the Khmer Rouge, everyone got a lot of practice
exactly,
in building huts, I'm sure.
We don't have a choice under Khmer Rouge. Everybody has to work.
Right.
Yeah. Even though you don't know how. Like my father, he's a merchant. You know, he usually buy livestock from one district and go and sell it in different district. But in Pol Pot regime, he asked, "What do you do?" "Oh, I make a basket. I make a bamboo basket." I said, "Okay, go make it for me." And then he go and look at other people's basket, and he just learn on the fly, build it on the fly. If he cannot make it, he would have been dead already.
Yes.
You know. Yeah. But he passed away in '79 after the Pol Pot, you know. But
so he survived through the.
He survived through the difficult time. My mother did not survive. My mother passed away in, I believe, probably, I don't know, maybe a couple of years into, you know, into Pol Pot. So, but he survived after '79, and we was like nothing. And he also has stress, and that's why. We're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to continue some more. Okay. Thank you. បាទពីកម្មវិធីសូមសម្រាប់មួយផ្លែតសិនបាទបាទសូមស្វាគមន៍ត្រឡប់មកវិញបាទ So you went back from England, you went back to Cambodia from England, and you were looking for somebody that you knew before, and you found him. You found her, basically, right?
When I was in Khmer Dang, I was looking for people that I knew before. After that, eventually I went back to Japan. And in '92, I could come back to Cambodia to visit. Yeah. After that, I came back in '93, after the elections. And then I came back every 1 or 2 years. And I always thought that I would end up in Cambodia. You know, I thought, you know, after Japan, you can't retire in Japan. I can't. It's too expensive and, you know, too many problems for retiring. You can work there, not retire. But I thought, you know, I would like to come back to Cambodia in the end. And then something happened in 2006, which gave me a big push. And that was in a Cambodian restaurant in Tokyo. I found a flyer advertising a dance performance, Cambodian dance performance. The dancer had come from Cambodia with her student, a Japanese student that she was teaching Cambodian dance. And she used one of my photographs that I had taken in 1974 for the flyer.
Oh, use her photo that you took in 74.
And
on
I
the
don't
flyer.
know how, the mystery is how she got this photograph. We still don't know how she got the photograph. I didn't give it to her. Somehow she got it. And it was the only photo she had of her before the Khmer Rouge.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she ends up coming to Tokyo to perform in a little temple about, a kilometre away from where we lived.
Oh,
in a
close
suburb
by.
of Tokyo. And I went, of course, I went to see her, and I showed her the other photographs.
Oh.
And there she is in the dressing room before the performance. It was the last performance of classical dance in Cambodia before the Khmer Rouge. It was late 1974.
Wow.
So I thought, okay, so what about the other dancers in the photographs? And I decided, I had to come back to Cambodia and find out what happened to them. Were they still alive? Were they still active? Were they still dancing? Were they teaching? Mm-hmm. And so in 2014, that's what I did. I came back and I brought all the photographs to Bopana Center. They put them in their archive. They were very happy to have these ordinary old snapshots.
Yes, of course.
Because they had become something quite rare.
Yep.
And I met Sopilin Chiam Shapiro, who's quite a famous dancer. You probably know her.
Yes, I do.
And she almost immediately identified the dancers in the black and white photos. She's, this is Men Kosoni. This is.
She knew.
She knew most
that
of
dancer.
them.
Yeah.
And she knew where they were, and so I met them all, and we put the first exhibition together, just about the dancers in Bopana Center. Mm-hmm. And other exhibitions followed, the photographs from Phnom Penh and the countryside, 1973 to 75, and then. Finally, during COVID, the refugee photographs. And this was largely a virtual exhibition. It was actually on in Bopana Center, but we could only take small groups in, one at a time.
During the COVID.
It was mainly in video, on video and a video talk. Mm-hmm. But anyway, during COVID, this was our main project, putting this book together.
During COVID, you wrote a book. This is during the COVID period, right?
Yeah. A lot of the text was already on the website. A lot of the text was already
so this
on the
book
website.
is called Dancer. You begin from 1974.
And then they go to 1980.
With the same
revival.
With the same dancer, 1974, right?
No, none of those dancers were in the
90
refugee camps.
Oh, okay.
They either stayed in Cambodia.
Oh, the dancer that you knew before Pol Pot.
I didn't know them. I didn't know them.
Oh.
I photographed them, but they never even saw me.
Oh, I see. They don't know who you are. You don't know them.
They never saw me taking the photographs.
Oh, you're taking their photo. No, you don't know each other.
Right.
But then you knew it when they go to Japan, and then when you come back to Cambodia.
Just that one that went to Japan was the connection.
So now you know all the dancers, and then you start write a book.
Yes.
During the Pol Pot.
Yeah.
Because you can't do anything else, right? During Pol Pot, they kind of lock you up.
Yeah, that's right. I had plenty of time during COVID.
Yeah.
So it was talking to the dancers about their individual stories, and then taking more photographs.
Is this photograph right now here is the camp dancing?
Yeah,
in the camp?
this is Nut Rachana, who came to America in 1981 on a special visa or special permission, because it was a cultural permit. He came with about 80 people from Khmer Dang, dancers, musicians, and they were accepted to settle in the United States. And he started, he was one of the dancers who started a group in the Washington area. And unfortunately, he was killed in a traffic accident in 1983.
In the U.S.?
In the US, yeah,
Wow.
after surviving
Very
Khmer
young.
Rouge. And, yeah.
Yeah, that's sad
It
because
was,
he survived the Khmer
sadly
Rouge. But
ironic, yeah.
yeah, he survived the Khmer Rouge, but then
Died in a traffic accident.
died in a traffic accident. That's what life's all about. You cannot see what's going to happen
You don't know
tomorrow.
what's going to happen tomorrow,
Sorry,
or even
yeah.
5 minutes' time.
Yep, so we have to enjoy what we have today.
Yeah.
You know, I did the same thing during the COVID because of the lockup. I wrote a book about myself also. I finished a book about myself. Yeah.
It was a great opportunity to do that,
Exactly,
wasn't
because you know, you don't do much. Everything is from the house. You don't get out.
it? Right, yeah.
So you have time, plenty of time, and then just doing what? Just write a book.
Yeah, yeah. After COVID, we had big problems forcing ourselves to go out again.
Yes. Now
We lost the habit.
Yeah, now we're kind of widely open. So this book here is basically is all about the dancer, basically.
Yeah, that's right.
About the dancer, which is right now most of the dancer in here are in Cambodia.
Yes, some are in France, some are in America. Most of them are dead. Most of them died. I mean, if they didn't die during the Khmer Rouge, they died of old age. The dancer on the cover was one of the last dancers we found, and she's retired now. She's living in Phnom Penh with her husband, and she's got grandchildren.
So
she's happy.
I see. That's her right there, right? That's her picture, right there.
Yes, yeah.
That's when,
2 pictures of her.
Is that in 1974?
1974. Yeah.
That picture that you took in 1974? And she had that picture in her flyer in Japan.
This is a different dancer.
Oh, different dancer.
We gave her this photograph just a short time ago, just a few months ago, when we met her and her husband for the first time.
Oh, so you just gave her the picture.
Yeah.
She didn't know that you took the picture.
She didn't know that I had taken a picture. No.
Wow.
Until we found out where she was, who she was, and then we met her and I gave her the photographs.
Wow, that was a long time ago, yeah. In 1974.
And like others, you know, she had no other photographs of her as a dancer before the Khmer Rouge.
Yep, of course. That's a lot of things burned, you know.
Yeah.
When Pol Pot left, when we come to the Phnom Penh the first time, most of the concrete house in Phnom Penh is full of paper, full of paper, and you will not believe, not just paper, American dollars buried under the paper. So
Really?
basically, we don't know what they did during the time. They collect all the paper, they just store it in a certain house. And some people go out and search for, actually collect the paper and take it to Vietnam to sell. And some of them found US dollars, bags and bags of US dollars in there. So some of them are very lucky. So they strike rich at the time. And some people found, you know, golds and stuff like that they got buried. So there's a lot of things in Cambodia.
Yeah. One of the dancers in here was actually also a secretary at the school where I was working before. And she asked me to take photographs of her at her teacher's house.
I see.
Now, those photographs, she kept the negatives and she kept one set of prints. I kept another set of prints. During Khmer Rouge, she kept those prints. You know, she could have been killed, right?
I know,
These were dangerous to keep.
She still have it.
But she kept them until the Khmer Rouge found them, but they didn't know who they belonged to. They found them and they destroyed them.
Oh, wow.
And then when she went back to Phnom Penh in 1979, after the Vietnamese came in, she went back to their house in Phnom Penh. She'd hidden the negatives and papers and books and things under the floor. The house had just been burned down.
Wow.
In the fighting. And everything was just smoking ashes.
Yeah.
So she'd lost everything, you know, she lost the negatives and the pictures, and they were very valuable to her.
But it's lucky that you still have a copy.
I still have my set of prints.
Yep. Now you can scan it and create multiple.
And they're in the book, yeah.
Yeah, and create multiple. Actually, now once you have some kind of photo, AI can turn that photo into a beautiful either color or anything you want. AI can help us a lot right now. But I think our program come to the end right now. So you're gonna have a lot of basically mostly Khao Dang photo exhibit in Long Beach this Sunday from what 11 o'clock, I guess, right?
I think from 12. I told you you shouldn't ask me about exact times, but I think from about 12. It's in the afternoon anyway.
Oh, okay.
You know, the parade's in the morning. Yeah. It's from about noon, I think.
So the exhibition will be from 12 to 5 to 6 p.m., I guess. Well, if you go to Long Beach for the parade from the morning till the evening, you will find it in the Gamboa, I guess, Gamboa Theater?
Manazar Gamboa Theater, the Black Box Theater.
Manzana Gamboa Theater in MacArthur Park.
That's
in
right,
the city of Long Beach. So please come by.
And we're doing a slideshow and talk at 5:30.
Oh, you have a slideshow. Do you have it at certain time periods throughout the day or just one time?
No, it's only one time.
Oh,
as a
only
slideshow
one
and
time
talk.
at 5:30.
From 5:30 probably through to 7 o'clock.
Oh, from 5:30 onward.
I think, yeah, 5 to 7, 5:30.
7, not 6?
Oh,
So
it's 2. No, it takes about 50 minutes to do the slideshow and talk.
Oh, I see.
Because, you know, once I get started, you can't stop me blabbing.
Yeah, you have to go all the way till you finish the slide, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we don't show everything in the slides. You know, it's selective, but still, there's a lot to tell.
It's a good photo. It's a photo that you cannot find. Basically, it's the only photo.
Yeah,
right?
and there's a lot behind it. There's a lot to tell about the photos.
Yeah.
You know, if you just look at the photos, you just see
doesn't mean anything,
yeah,
right? But if you hear the explanation, then
that's right. Yeah.
It's a lot of meaningful for each one of the
if
photos.
you know the background.
Yeah. That's why they say
makes
photo
a lot of
worth 1,000
difference.
words, right?
Yeah.
So one photo you have to sit there and you can describe all day long, right? Yeah. Because the photo in the camp it's just amazing. Because at the time when I was there in 81, 82. If you don't have money, you cannot take photo. And I don't have any money, so I have absolutely no photo at all for myself.
Yes, of course, the refugees had no cameras themselves. They couldn't take
Some of them
photos.
have camera. They bought one of those Kodak instant camera, and they charge money. Yeah, they charge, I think, like 20 baht or something, Thai baht. And that is
I think this happened after my time. I think this was an idea that probably the Thai entrepreneurs had later on.
Yep. You know, they run, the refugee run out of the camp at nighttime or daytime. They jump the barbed wire. They go to if you speak Thai, you can go to the Thai community in around the area and you buy whatever you can there, whatever that is the camp need. And then they bring back inside and they sell it inside. Or they buy the camera and then they just use it for their business, taking photos, and instantly you make 10, 20, I think either 10 or 20 baht, I don't remember. But at the time I'm the orphan, I have nothing, so I cannot take any photo at all. Yeah.
So there's a possibility of making an exhibition of all these photos that refugees took themselves.
They would have a lot. A lot of the people that have money, they have a lot of photo of themselves at the time. And even English is difficult too, you know. Teaching English, I learned English over there, but because I don't have money, I learn from outside. You know how the hut built, right?
Yes.
So they have the wall, but it's leaf. It's a palm leaf. We have to poke a hole through the wall, and one person look through the hole, and another person and another person and another person just copy, you know, following there. So that's a difficult part, yeah.
Cambodians were always good students.
Oh, so it's MacArthur Park from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., right? And then, wait a minute, April 7 also? So you're going to be there till April 7 also?
It's going to be at Manazar Gamboa for 1 day, and it's going to Mola, the Museum of Latin American Art, for another 5 days. 5 days.
Mola,
Museum of Latin American Art.
American Art. And where's that at? That is, I think we have to Google it.
It's not far from Cambodia town.
So it's in the Cambodia town.
Yeah.
I see. So okay, so it's still in Long Beach. Yeah.
Yes.
So if they Google it,
they'll
find it. Mola, M-O-L-L-A-A.
Yeah, that's right.
So
there'll be the event there, the slideshow and talk and panel discussion will be on the 7th.
On
7th
April
of
7th,
April, yeah.
from 5:30 to 7 p.m. Yeah.
No, is it 5:30 to 7?
Yeah, 5:30 to 7 p.m. That's what it is. Yeah. Okay, I guess we conclude our interview tonight. Yep. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. It's been interesting talking to you.
Thank you. Yep. សូមអរគុណដល់ទូរទស្សនិកជនទាំងអស់ដែលបានតាមដានទស្សនាខ្មែរ TV បាទសូមជូនពរឲ្យទូរទស្សនិកជនទាំងអស់ជួបប្រទះតែសេចក្តីសុខប្រកបមុខរបររកស៊ីមានបានហើយមានសុខភាពល្អបរិបូរណ៍គ្រប់ក្រុមគ្រួសារបាទខ្ញុំសូមអរគុណនិងសូមជម្រាបលា